All right, so let's see if we can fully blast through these bad concepts. And to a tiny math lesson, I promise I'll make it as quick and painless as possible. We need to talk about nonlinearity, variance, and standard deviation, right? Golf has tons of variance, as I mentioned, and you saw from Ricky Fowler's graphs in the previous lesson. Let's focus here on the graphic on the left. So big shout out here to my favorite golf instructor, Adam Young. Check him out, adamyounggolf.com. This graphic came from his site where we can see a 12-month example of a student improving, where they go from a 90 scoring average to an 85 scoring average. We can see what that looked like in terms of their scores, right? Not unlike our Ricky Fowler blue line, right? Lots of ups and downs. Like what I want you to remember is that independent of whether you're getting better or not, you are guaranteed to have these downswings. And it's during these downswings that we become the most vulnerable to giving up on the new thing we're trying to implement, or the methods by which we're practicing. We can throw our hands up, go back to the drawing board during these guaranteed downswings. This is the single biggest cause of golfers not getting better. And if we take a look on the right at our bell curve, right, we'll talk a bit about standard deviation. So standard deviation is just a fancy term for difference in a set of numbers, right, that we grabbed an average from. So in the case of a golfer with an 85 average, right, that may be you, right? If you've got an 85 average and you've got a standard deviation of 4, what that means is if we look at our bell curve in this dark blue shaded area, what we see is that 68% of our scores would fall between 81, 85 minus 4, and 89, right? That probably is a lot of you who are watching, right? These numbers aren't pulled out of thin air. These are based on real golfers, right? If we zoom out to the next shaded area, the more gray shade with 13.5%, we're going to capture 95% of our scores within two standard deviations, or 8 strokes on either side. So 85 minus 8, or 78, right? Or 85 plus 8, 93. So if you're an 85 shooter, it's very, very likely that 95% of your scores fall between that 78 and 93 category, right? If we look at this last tail, we capture this last 5%, it's a whole nother standard deviation, right? So 5% of the time, we're going to be 12 shots off of our average. I should say 9 to 12 shots off of our average. And if you know a buddy who's an 85 shooter and you imagine his best on a given year, right? It very well could be 73, low 70s, right? Low to mid 70s. This is probably what he shoots on his best day. And when the wheels come off, right? 85 and 12, he struggles to break 100, right? 97. Again, these variances with your scores are occurring whether you're getting better or not. And if you can't accept the fact that it's going to happen, whether you're getting better or not, you're going to have a very hard time staying committed to your improvement plan, the ideas that you're trying to implement. All right, in the next section, we're going to talk about all the ways in which we fool ourselves. How do we fall victim to the reversion patterns, when we are on these inevitable downswings?